Hello, hello, hello. How are you guys doing this evening? It is currently, well, the clock said 6:43 when I walked out here. And it is a beautiful evening in Indianapolis. It has been full of sunshine all day today. It's been like upper 70s. And the leaves are falling, and it's a beautiful fall evening outside. My neighbor's been out, and I've been talking to my neighbors. A couple of my neighbors I haven't seen in a while were walking down the street, so I went to the end of the driveway and talked to them today, and it's just been a really great day. Alex has been resting in bed most of the day, looking at TikToks because he has a very exciting night tonight. He is going out with some girlfriends of his to hear a DJ that he really, really likes. And so he asked me if I wanted to come, and I was like, I'm not really in the mood for a club. They got a section and stuff like that. And I'm like, I'm not really in the mood for a club tonight. I think that I'm just going to sit here and I'm going to order some food. I'm not really sure what I'm going to get. I've been on this, like, I'm moving you guys. Woo, moving you closer and closer. I've been on this piata kick, obviously. I still love piata. And I keep on thinking I want to get pizza, but then I'm like, I don't know. I don't really feel like pizza. So, but I feel like tonight I want to try something different. I'm not really sure what I'm going to get. I know this is going to sound so strange, but I've been kind of like, I think it's because I saw like an ad for it. But I've been kind of craving Olive Garden. I don't know why, but I've been kind of craving Olive Garden the last couple days, or yesterday. I was thinking, like, maybe I should get Olive Garden. But anyway, so Alex just went over to his mom's house, and his aunt was coming over there, and they were just gonna have like a glass of wine. He was gonna go over there for like an hour, and I was filming videos, and he's like, I'm just gonna, while you're filming videos, I'm just gonna pop over there for a little bit. And I was like, okay, let me finish up these videos, and he's gonna come back over here, and then we're gonna hang out for a little bit. And then he is going to get ready and go downtown to meet up with his girlfriends. And in all honesty, I'm very excited because I plan to, so it's what, 6:43, 6:45 by now. So I'll finish this up by, I don't know, 7:15 to 7:45, something like that. And then I'm planning on trying to get this vlog up as early as possible. So I'll be done by like 8:30 with all of my videos. I've been like posting, uploading today. So by like 8:30 I'll be done with everything, and I'm gonna order some food and have it like in the kitchen, and then I am going to take a shower, and it's nice out tonight, so I'm gonna take a shower, and I'm gonna put on my, I think I'm gonna do the apple champagne honey lotion and the body wash and everything like that today, and smell good, and put the lotion on, and then I'm going to put on my shorty pajamas. People always ask me what I mean by shorty pajamas. Shorty pajamas are like what I wore as a kid, but you can still get them online for like adults, and they're the ones that have like the big plastic buttons. They have kind of like the crew neck, and I love those pajamas so much. And so I have like a black pair, and then I have like a pinstriped pair, and I have like, I think maybe it's just like a white pair that has like black piping on it. So I'm gonna take a shower and get real clean, take Boo Radley out, hang out with Boo Radley in bed for a little bit, and then I'm gonna eat my food, and I'm going to watch, because I'm caught up on all my shows. So last night I ended watching The Real Housewives of Miami. I watched like an episode or two, and so I'm now on, I think, like episode 6, maybe 7, I think 6, episode 6 of Real Housewives of Miami season 2. And so I'm planning on watching The Real Housewives of Miami tonight, a couple episodes, and then maybe a couple episodes of Fear the Walking Dead, because I haven't watched that in a while, and I need to finish season 7 because season 8 is coming out soon. And then I'm listen, I'm not getting behind again. I'm not. Okay, I'm gonna be caught up when those episodes come out. So and then I'm going to watch, I think I'm going to start, because I wanted to start Real Housewives of Potomac, and I thought that I would start it after I finish Miami, but I still have season 2, season 3, season 4, and season 5 of Miami to finish, and each one of those is like 18 to 22 episodes or something like that. So I think that I'm going to simultaneously watch Fear the Walking Dead, Real Housewives of Miami, and Real Housewives of Potomac, because I think I read somewhere that the Real Housewives of Potomac, the release date for the new season is November 8th. and I want to be as caught up as I possibly can. Even if I have like a season or two that I'm behind on, I want to be as caught up as I possibly can. Oh, and I'm also watching Below Deck Mediterranean, season 5. So I plan to just sit out here for like 8 hours and just watch reality TV and Fear the Walking Dead. And I'm really excited about it. I know that probably sounds like a lame Saturday night to a lot of people, but to me, I'm very excited about it. And I'll probably at some point call Mel from the book club, my good Judy Mel. And then Tanya Jean has been gone for the last week on a family trip to Florida. Her husband's side of the family, like every year they get together and they like all rent. They used to rent like one big house and all stay in the house together. But now that they all have extended families and stuff, they go down there. It's like the Destin area, and they all rent condos and stuff in the same place. And then it's like 40 of them or 60 of them or something like that. And so she's been down there for the last week. I've talked to her one time in a week. I've like lost my mind, but she's coming in. I think she said she got in at 3 o'clock today. So she'll get in and get relaxed, and then she'll give me a call here in a little bit. So I'm really excited. We talked, was it last night we talked? Or was it the night before? It was when Alex and I were watching American Horror Story and Kardashian. So that would have been 2 nights ago. So, because she called in the middle of that night, I was getting ready to take Boo Radley out during a break, and I said, let me talk to Tanya really quick. So I talked to Tanya for about, oh, no. That was that last night? When did we watch Red, White, and Royal Blue? I think that was last night. Yeah, that was last night because I ended up making a video last night for my drama channel. Okay, so last night we were watching Red, White, and Royal Blue, and I was getting ready to we were like 20 minutes into it, and I was getting ready to take Boo Radley out, and then Tanya called, and so I said, can I talk to Tanya for a little bit? Do you care? And he was like, no, because usually, like, if we're in the middle of the movie, it's like, no, like, we don't take phone calls and stuff. So, I took Boo Radley out while I was talking to Tanya, and then brought him back inside and gave him some treats, and I talked to Tanya for like 10 minutes more, and we just like caught up, and she was telling me about her week and stuff like that, and she was asking me questions about my week, and my week is so lame and boring that there wasn't really a whole lot to tell her. So anyway, but it was really good to talk to her, and I missed her like crazy, and yeah, so Tanya's coming back today, and then Valerie texted me like an hour ago. I started crying when she texted me, and she's like, here's the thing, so Valerie met her boyfriend. Well, she had known her boyfriend like since like college days, and they both married other people, and then like got divorced, and so they met up again. And so he's from around where she used to live, and then she moved down here to be closer to her kids. And so they started dating, I think like about 4 or 5 years ago, 4 years ago, something like that. They started dating. So she would go up there for like 2 weeks at a time. So it's nothing for me to know that Valerie's gone for like 2 weeks at a time or whatever. And we talk in between, and we text and talk on the phone and stuff like that, right? But today she texted me, and it was so funny because I said something to Tanya on the phone. I said, oh, I was telling her about the last time I went to the casino and how I just kind of had like this breakdown, right? And I was like, and Valerie was saying to me, you need to get out more and whatever. And I was talking about how I feel like my life is really small. And Tanya's like, babe, I totally get it. Like, you know, she was like, that was your kind of like social outlet for a long time, you know? But when I was telling her, I said, we went for the last time. She goes, how many last times did you guys have at the casino? I said, Tanya Jean, I go, shut your mouth. I said I was taking her up on every opportunity that she asked me to go, and Tanya's like, hey, I get it, because like every time that Valerie would be like, hey, do you want to go to the casino, I would go. Well, I honestly, like, we went the last time, and I kept on thinking this week, her boyfriend was down there helping her get stuff ready to move. I had this Michael Myers shirt on because I made a huge announcement about a group project over my Peter Does Stuff channel for Halloween, so go check that out. And it's a fun I texted the video to Melissa, which has this like on the thumbnail, and Melissa was like, oh my god, that shirt, because Melissa loves the Michael Myers Halloween franchise. She's like obsessed with it. So anyway, what was I saying? I was like, is that the video that's uploading right now? But no, my video that's uploading right now inside it's my last video uploading before I came out to film this. This is my last video that I have to upload or film or anything today. And I'm like so relaxed, and I'm like, okay, and I'm gonna try to get this up really quick. I'm gonna upload it so that it like, hopefully it goes up quick and get this up early. But anyway, so Valerie and her boyfriend came back on Monday, and then I knew that she was moving today. I honestly thought like Wednesday or Thursday she would have texted me and been like, because she said, I'm not going to the casino this week. Like the last time we went was the last time we went. And she was like, you know, she doesn't usually go with her boyfriends here in town, but like every once in a while, like he'll go to bed early and she'll be like, do you want to go to the casino? So I thought, well, maybe like on Wednesday or Thursday, she'll like text me and be like, do you want to go to the casino? And then I'll like have my last night where I was crying to people at the casino and just, you know, it's just ridiculous, right? And I was like, well, I'll go if she asks, you know? But I kind of knew at the same time that she probably wouldn't, because she was like, had so much to do with her move and things like that. She's been working on getting stuff ready for this move for like months. I'm so proud of her. She did it like, her boyfriend was so helpful to her, but she did so much on her own, and I'm so proud of her, right? And so she really inspired me to continue with this basement and get this basement done, because if she could get like an entire 3-bedroom apartment done, you know, and everything that she ever had from her entire life, and moved out of, she had a whole storage unit, and she got rid of everything in her storage unit and everything like that. I'm so proud of her. So anyway, so she texted me today, and she was like, the truck's all loaded up, because I got a U-Haul, and she's like, the truck's all loaded up, and we're heading out. And I was like, I texted her, I was like, I'm gonna cry, I'm gonna miss you so much, but I'm so happy for you. You know, it's hard when you can get to the point in your life where you can be really happy for your friends, you know, but like at the same time, it still makes you kind of sad. Like, I'm so happy for her. I'm so happy that she found love, you know, and her boyfriend is fantastic. Like, he is such an amazing guy, and he treats her like gold, and she so deserves it. And I'm so excited for her. I'm so happy for this new chapter of her life, and but I'm gonna miss her, you know? And I think, like, I mean, this is just the condition of my situations in my life, or my situation of my life, but, like, if I was driving, I could get in a car and I could, you know, drive a couple hours north, you know, and visit her for a day and go out and have lunch and go shopping with her and stuff like that, and she'll come back to visit, like her kids live here, so she's going to come back and visit and stuff like that, and we'll have dinner and whatever, and we'll talk on the phone and text, and like, our relationship's not going to change a whole lot, you know, but the days of going to the casino for 8 hours, like, those are over, you know, or just driving around and talking and stuff like that, like, that's, you know, that part of it's over. So it's just the relationship will change. I've had a lot of relationships in my life change over time, and, you know, merge into something different and change, and that's okay, you know, relationships change over time and they grow, and this is not like in Valerie and I's friendship, this is not like the first thing that, like, the condition of our relationship has had to change, or Tanya, or anybody, you know, so, yeah, and I still have, you know, fantastic people here in town, my husband, Caroline, Tanya, Melissa, my husband, Caroline, Tanya, Melissa. I don't have a lot of people in my life, and, you know, and I don't mind that. There's this bug that has been, like, literally every video, this little bug has been, like, flying all over in front of my face. I don't mind, like, I got in that video and I talked about, like I said, you know, my opinion can change from one moment to the next, like Tanya says. I don't mind that, like, I got in that video and I talked about how small my life is, which it is. At the same time, like, I don't mind my life being small, but it does kind of make me sad sometimes. I just am like, this is it. Like, this is my life, you know? And I think, like, people are like, you film and post so many videos. Like, why do you do that? What am I going to do? Watch 16 hours of The Housewives? I think, like, people don't really understand how much I really do behind the scenes, you know? That, like, I'm just, like, booking right through this Heartstopper yearbook that I've been reading. This, basically, it's Alice Oseman. If you've read the Heartstopper series, or you've watched it on Netflix, it's basically, it's the yearbook. But I thought it was going to be a lot about the characters, which it is, but it's really more about her and, like, her whole process of how the characters came up. It's very interesting. So I've been reading that. Not on Audible. I've been reading it. You know, but, like, I've been working on this cozy mystery. I've been trying not to talk a lot about it, because I just want to work on it and get excited about it, you know, and then one day go, okay, well, the book is half done, you know, or something like that. You know, I spend a lot of time with Boo Radley. I talk to my neighbors a lot. I clean the house a lot, going through clothes, going through the basement, doing all that kind of stuff. Like, I do a lot, right, to keep myself busy. I mean, friends of mine that I talk to, you know, other people that make YouTube videos and things like that, they're like, I don't even really know how you get everything done in a day. And I don't really even, to be honest with you, like, I say I do a lot, but it doesn't feel like a lot, you know? And I have such a blessed, charmed life that I get to work from home and all this kind of stuff, right? But I think that part of it is, I don't have tons of people in my life. You know, it's not like I'm going to work, and I think, like, in the world we live in now where so many people are working from home, I think it's a completely different world. But, you know, back in the day, I talk to a lot of people in a day. And I think it's part of why my husband, when he comes home, just wants to not talk to anybody, because he's been talking to people all day long. And I get that. That's how I was back in the day, right? I'm like, God, I've been talking to people all day long. Like, I don't want to talk to people anymore. But I think that's part of why I do make so many videos, is because even if I'm just looking at myself in a camera, like I'm looking at myself like right now, you know, here, it's like at the same time, it's like I do feel like I'm having a conversation with somebody, you know, like that's not bullshit. Like I really do. Like I always kind of think it's just one person I'm having a conversation with. I never think that there's like 100 or 1,000 people that are going to watch a video. I just really kind of think I'm having this conversation with one person. You know, often like when I'm like vlogging, like I don't know why, but like I'm thinking of Stacy right now a lot from the book club, and she watches my vlogs and comments a lot. But like, it seems like every time I vlog, I think about one person, you know, that's out there or whatever. And for some reason, like tonight, I'm thinking about, like, I'm just having this conversation with Stacy. I don't know why, but like, that's just, and so for me, it doesn't feel so lonely when I'm filming, because I feel like I'm talking to somebody. I know that probably sounds bizarre, but, and I probably do need to get out and go do more stuff. But in all honesty, like, sometimes I really don't want to. Like, you know, I know that isolating is not healthy, but like, at the same time, like, I complain about not having a lot of people, but like I kind of like not having a lot of people in my life. I know that that sounds crazy. It's like this conundrum, this confusion, right? But it's like if I was asked to go out to dinner like 3 times a week, I wouldn't want to do that. You know, like when and this is not the social anxiety part. It has nothing really to do with that. You know, if I was asked by 3 close friends of mine to go out to dinner 3 times a week, I'd be like, God, I just want to sit at home and watch shows. Like, I love just sitting here, one of the reasons why I'm sitting out here every night is, like, I want to sit out here until I can't sit out here anymore, until the snow's coming down, you know? And it's icing outside. Like, this bug is, like, driving me nuts, you guys. This bug is literally, like, the size of the end of a pencil, okay? Like, the writing part of a pencil. And it's, like, flying all around. And I'm like, can you just go away, please, Mr. Bug? But, that's one of the reasons why I'm sitting out here. I love this. I feel free out here, you know? And, so I don't know. I kind of go back and forth between being sad and being not sad. And, yeah, I mean, ultimately, I'm really happy for Valerie. And that's how I started talking about this. I'm going to miss her like crazy, but it's not like we saw each other every day anyway, you know? But this will be good for her. She deserves this. I think you got to be happy for your friends, you know what I mean? I can remember, like, back in my day, in my youth, like, I would have friends of mine that got, like, a job, and they'd be like, oh, I got a $5,000 or a $10,000 sign-on bonus. And I'm like, that's like a fourth of what I make in a year. Like, and you're getting a sign-on bonus for this. And it wasn't necessarily jealousy, and I would be happy for them, right? But at the same time, I kind of be like, I would always kind of, like, personalize it. Like, why isn't that happening for me? And over time, like, I am still personalizing this, like, I'm sad that she's moving away, right? But it's not like a jealousy thing. It's not like, I don't know. I don't know how to explain it. Like, back in the day, if one of my friends had won the lottery, I'd be like, well, are you giving me anything? Like, I don't think that way anymore, you know? Just like, oh my God, I can't believe you won the lottery. Like, that's amazing, you know? So yeah, so last night, I asked Alex if he wanted to watch a movie. I keep on thinking it was the night before, but it was last night. And I had heard so much about this. I feel like this camera is, like, not good tonight. I kept on hearing about this movie called Red, White, and Royal Blue that was on, I thought it was on Netflix, but it's on Amazon Prime. Now, I actually have the book downloaded on Audible, and I've never read it. But I heard about the book first, and the book was like, people were going on and on about how fantastic this book is, right? I feel like I need to turn this. Hold on a second. Walking again, huh? So pretty, isn't it? He walks around once by himself with his dog. Then he and his wife walk. They're like my neighbors that I always say are my favorite neighbors. Like, she's so funny. So I was talking to them earlier today, and they walked around, and then she stays home, and then he walks the dog again for like the last time for the evening. They're so sweet. She was real excited about the concert last night because she was like, I love to hear like old time songs. And I was sitting out here and I could hear them playing My Girl. My girl, talking about my girl. So anyway, when I went down there and I talked to them today, and I was like, oh yeah, I heard the woman singing My Girl last night. You must have loved that. And she's like, she was okay. It's so funny because they all get excited about this concert and then they all kind of act like the concert's like not that good, which is why I don't go to the concerts for $20. I mean, $20 is not like make or break money, but I'm like, no, I'll do Christmas caroling. I'm excited about that if we do that this year. Although my neighbor that's in charge of the social chair, she said that they don't want us to be Christmas caroling around the neighborhood. Apparently it's not like, there's not enough money for it in the fund. And also, even though like they just put out that these new stickers that we have to get for our mailbox, it's going to cost $1,200 to order the stickers and $1,200 to put the stickers on. Why is it going to cost $1,200 to put these stickers on our mailbox? I'm so confused about that, right? They let us know how they spend every single cent. And I'm like, I just want to like comment on these things and be like, you do realize that's what the HOA fees are for every month, right? That was quick.
I gotta pick up mail down here.
Aww. I just want to say to these people, like this guy that's the treasurer, I mean, he was really nice to me this summer, actually. He never really talked to me before. But I just want to look at him and go, like, hey, you know, like, all this stuff that you're constantly putting in our mailbox about how much stuff's going to cost? Like, you do realize that that's what we pay the HOA fees for, right? Like, you're always acting like it's, like, how are we going to come up with this money when there's, like, literally $500,000 in reserves for the HOA? Like, we're paying HOA fees so that we can have our mailbox stickers replaced. You know, like... Do you think we're paying HOA fees just for that money to sit there? Like, no, it's for the lawn. Like, they complain, they'll be like, well, we're going to try to find a different lawn service because this is really expensive. And if you guys knew how much the HOA money goes toward, I'm like, that's what the HOA fees are for. Just saying, you know. Cracks me up. So anyway, so I wanted to see this movie. Alex wanted to see this movie. I heard the book was fantastic. I didn't read the book, but I was hearing a lot of people were telling me that this movie was great, and I already kind of knew that I knew what it was about. I knew it was about like two kids of famous people like fell in love, and one of them was like from a royal family, but I didn't know any much more about that. So the movie is about, and I would not say that I think it's like young adult, like teenage. It's definitely like there's some pretty explicit, intimate conversations. There's some sexual talk in there. There's some sexual scenes in there. Like it's definitely more for like 18 probably and over. I mean, I watched this kind of stuff when I was, 16 or 17, but it's definitely more for like 18-year-olds probably. Like, well, I guess it depends on how protective you are of your kid, but I mean, there's nothing like that's really shown. There's one intimate scene that I'm kind of like, this is pretty serious. So anyway, but we're watching it, and so what it's about is that the President of the United States is the first woman president, Uma Thurman, and her son is, who I think is supposed to be like 21 in the movie, and I looked him up, and he's like 30, because I kept on looking at this one girl that plays the vice president's daughter. I was like, how do I know this girl? Like, I feel like she's in everything. And I thought she was in 13 Reasons Why, but she was actually in Love Victor and Love Simon. And I love this actress. She's so fantastic. Her name's something Hilton or Hinton. Hinton? I think Hinton. She's beautiful and she's fantastic. So anyway, so it's about the president's son, okay? That's this, I can't even remember what his name is now. Alex is his name. And then it's about the Prince of England, but he's like, I don't know, he's not like next in line or anything like that. He'll never be like the king, he'll never be like the prince. And so it's kind of like Harry, kind of a little bit. Like it's very much a play on like William and Harry. And so he's like the Harry. And so Alex is bisexual, and I mean, they don't come right out and say this. This is kind of developed through the movie. I won't tell you the whole movie, but anyway. And the Harry character, what's his name? I can't think of what his name is. Jeff? No, it's something real basic though. Well, I can't think what it is. But anyway, he's gay. So he says he's as gay as a maypole, which I thought was kind of funny. It immediately took me back to that movie Midsummer by Ari Lester, which is like that scary movie. Do you remember that? And they have maypoles in that movie. Maypoles are those ones that are like the sticks that have like the, you know, isn't that what a maypole is? Where they're like holding those like ribbons and they dance around the thing. Okay. The vice president's daughter says that he's gay as the first 10 rows of a Lady Gaga concert. But anyway, so they fall in love, and it's about how they have to keep their love a secret and all this kind of stuff, and then they get outed. I mean, I knew that that was what was going to happen. You know that from like 5 minutes of watching this movie. It's interesting because the movie's about the president's son being bisexual, and there's some like really great conversations in there about bisexuality, and like Uma Thurman says at one point something about like the B is not the silent letter in LGBT, which I love that they like, it's not that they just make him a bisexual character, but that they actually like pay homage to the bisexual community. I think people really sexualize the bisexual community. It's like, oh, bisexual people will just have sex with anybody. It's kind of like they, you know, it's like people always want to sexualize, like, oh, two lesbians together is like a male's, straight male's fantasy, you know, or like two gay guys, they always reduce us as to like having like, you know, leather rooms and you know, what swings and stuff in the basement and things like that, when it's like so not, I mean, come on now, right? I mean, I'm sure there are people out there that have that. I mean, we don't, but like I'm sure there are people out there that do. I wish my life was that exciting. I'm not really into the whole like leather BDS. Do you? Like, you know what I mean? Do you? But that's not really my scene. But anyway, I would like a good leather couch though. We have one, but I like a nicer one. But anyway, what is this conversation coming to? So anyway, but it was interesting because like speaking from the point of the royal family, and there's like all these rules and things. Like he's a representative of England, and so he's not like himself. He says he's like England's prince, and they will look at him differently. The ending, you guys, I literally was bawling my eyes out. Okay, and so it's a lot about like closeted people and the process of coming out and being forced out, no matter if you're the president or the president's son or the prince. Like it brings it, like the sentiment behind it is really on a lower, like on a very average level of just anybody in their everyday life coming out and whatever. And I'm watching this, and yet again another perfect example of, and I'm sure this movie is probably problematic and people have panned it and whatever, I don't really care. For me, my experience of it was, I looked at Alex at one point literally bawling my eyes out halfway through the movie. And I said to Alex, I said, if this movie had existed when I was coming out in high school, I said, or after high school I came out, but when I was figuring things out, if this movie had existed, this would have saved my life. You know, I'm such a believer that we've taken 5-10 steps forward and 5 steps back and things like that. But and while that's true, the young adult fiction that's out there for the LGBTQIA plus community, I mean, there's so many great, like, asexual characters and asexual fiction out there right now. There's so much great trans literature that's young adult, that's written by trans own voices, you know, bisexual own voices, gay own, I mean, there's so many great books out there, which is where I went to find stories. There's so many movies out there. TV shows like Love, Victor was fantastic. Love, Simon, the movie. The whole Simon verse, you know, by Becky Albertalli and Leah and the whole thing. I mean, like, all of it is so fantastically done. Like, if any of that had existed when I was coming out or figuring myself out, like, I would have really felt seen in a way that I never did. And I think while we're having the conversation about how bad the world is, and, you know, and I do believe that. Like, I do believe we've taken a lot of steps back, you know, that we work so hard within the gay community, the LGBTQIA plus community, that I just say the gay community. But anyway, while we've taken so many steps back, you know, or, you know, that this whole kind of conservative movement to force people back into the closet or whatever, you know, like, not from everybody, but I'm just saying, like, a certain group of people out there, you know, that I think, very religious groups and things like that. It's just, it's, at the same time, I think it's important to recognize the positive movements that we have. There are so many parents and families out there today that do accept and love their kids unconditionally when they come out, for whatever color of the rainbow they are in. yes, there are a lot of families and parents out there and friends that do not. Okay, that still exists today. But I think there's probably a lot more now than there were in 1990 when I came out. Definitely more than 1980, 1970, 1960. You know, and watching that show, that documentary called, we read the book in our True Crime Book Club. I am having like a really hard time remembering names today. I couldn't remember Jamie Lee Curtis earlier in the movie. I couldn't remember something else. But in that movie called, it was Last Call was the book, and it was about the serial killer in New York City that was killing gay men. You know, they were talking about like how in like the 60s, like it was like unheard of for gay men to come out and be out, like live out, right? Like we're not that far away from that, you know? I mean, what are we, 70, 80 years from that? And so, it stopped. It's not like we're that far away from that. Like, it's not like we're, like, decades away from that, you know? And so, we gotta remember that, you know? That the whole process of coming out is personal, and it's on somebody's own time, and, you know, and I think you should do it on your own time, and you should do it in a way that you can be safe and don't lose housing and things like that, right? But while there's all of this negative, horrible rhetoric that's going on in the world and violence towards, you know, trans people, especially trans people of color, and, you know, sex workers within the LGBTQIA plus community and just LGBTQIA plus people in general, constantly being questioned and violent acts towards them and things like that, I think at the same time, like, there are so many, like, Pride days compared to what we used to see. I mean, like, all the stuff that's going on right now with drag queens is just horrendous in our country. I think it's the pendulum's starting to switch the other way, and I hope that happens. But, you know, just, like, it seems like people are so threatened by us, and I'm like, so we literally grew up with you guys calling us the P word and calling us weak, and now we're taking over the world, and so, like, you have to make it your mission to destroy us? You think we have that much power? You think some 51-year-old guy living with his dog and his husband in Indianapolis watching TV shows like The Real Housewives on his front porch, you think I have a lot of power? I don't have a lot of power. Let's just be for real, right? I mean, I do acknowledge that as a white man in this country, I have a lot of natural born privilege. I 100% acknowledge that, you know? Especially being that I have a Latino husband that is a Venezuelan immigrant, you know? I get it. There are millions of people that have it millions of times worse than we do, you know? But I think, like, in looking at the whole picture of how bad things are, I think it's also important to honor all the work that the people have done in the gay civil rights movement, the LGBTQIA plus community, and recognizing that there's fantastic literature out there today that there wasn't. There's great fiction. There's great, I mean, there is so much young adult fiction out there for the LGBTQIA plus community that you can find yourself in a lot of books, right? I couldn't find myself in one book. I can remember seeing it in B. Dalton and Walden books, and the LGBT, what was even the LGBT? It was a gay, or it would be like gay fiction, lesbian fiction. There'd be like 5 books in each of them. And the books were all sexual, you know, or it'd be like the Kama Sutra of gay sex or something like that. And here I was 14 years old trying to find myself in a book in the bookstore, and I'm feeling dirty as shit, right? Because they're sexualizing us. Just the act of having those 5 books in that section, and that was the only place I could find myself within a bookstore, it made me feel gross about myself. It further stigmatized myself of feeling like I was a dirty person, you know? That I was this gross human being that everybody was already telling me that I was. And I hadn't even come out yet, you know? So to know that I can walk in a bookstore today and I can see the Heartstopper graphic novels, or I can see, you know, John Green's books or David Levithan's books. I mean, there's Becky Albertalli's books, and I mean, there's so many. What's the guy that writes with Becky Albertalli? Why can't I think of his name? I love him so much. He's the one that kind of writes science fiction. I can't remember any books right now, but I've read all of his books except for one that he did with Becky Albertalli. There's there's middle grade books that are fantastic, you know? About every color of the rainbow. There's movies, there's TV shows, you know? And Alex was watching this whole TV show. I feel like every character on the show is part of the rainbow somewhere, you know? There's Pride Day festivals everywhere. There's organizations, there's gay straight alliances in schools. No matter how hard they're trying to take them down, you know, they still exist. We've come a lot further. I don't even know that I think I would have been so terrified to join a gay straight alliance in high school, I would never have been part of it. We didn't have one for me to even be able to, ask that question, but at least today that option's out there for many schools, for many students, There's a lot of schools out there where kids don't feel safe. I get it. I grew up that way. But there's a lot of schools where, gay guys are on the homecoming court, and are going on dates together to prom. And you see it in TV shows. You see it in movies, right? We've come a long way. And I think as much as we want to talk about how horrible and how shitty it is out there, like, we have fought a long fucking fight. I mean, I haven't even begun to tell you guys the hell I have lived as an out gay man since I was 18 years old. You have no idea. And I had it okay. Even being bullied 12 years. The people that came before me in the 50s and the 60s and the 70s and the 80s, and the people that were there from day one of the AIDS crisis, oh no, they had it 100 million times worse than I ever could have imagined it. They paved the road for me. That's part of the reason why it pisses me off when a lot of the younger generation, the LGBTQIA plus community, does not honor their history and does not honor their past and the people that came before them. The people that came before me. I'm not talking about me. I'm talking about the people that came before me. I'm talking about the Sylvia Riveras. I'm talking about, the Martha P. Johnsons and things like that. Is that her name? I was going to watch that documentary again. The Life and Death of Martha P. Johnson, I think is her name. I'm talking about, all of the people out there that paved the road for us and the beginnings of the organizations, and just watching documentaries like We Were Here, about the people that had passed away from the AIDS crisis and the people that made it through, and the documentary that was so fantastic was We Survived a Plague, and it follows like 5 or 6 men that contracted HIV in the early 80s, and they're still alive here today. And I mean, I literally watched that whole documentary thinking, like, all these men are going to be dead by the end of it, and they're all still here, And, like, they survived a plague. And to see that, and to see not just that they survived a disease, that they survived a plague that they thought they were going to die from, I mean, that's scary enough on its own, right? But all of the hate and vitriol that they received, all the hate and negativity that they received as being gay, as being people with AIDS through the years, and I don't know, just as a gay man coming out in that era, the end of the AIDS crisis, well, I mean, it went on for many years after that, but like the height of the AIDS crisis, but for the grace of God, I never contracted HIV or AIDS. I don't know how. Missed bullet, right? Friends of mine that had less sex than I did became HIV positive. Some of them are still here. Some of them are gone, It's not like a deserved disease. It's not like, well, you had so much sex and you did it. And that's the way the movie Kids is important, because those people, I think it shows a good example of you can have sex one time and contract an STD or HIV, and things like that, or, and, but even just being gay in 1990, or even in high school, people would say to me, I had to bleep out a part in there because I said the whole F word, and so, is my husband home already from his mom's house? Is this my husband? Oh, it is my husband. So I had to bleep out the F word in there because I don't think YouTube likes that word, and I don't really like that word, but that's what I was called. So anyway, and I was like this, with the camera, should I shut it off? Should I not shut it off? But, on top of, those were words that people called me in high school. It wasn't just that they were calling me the F word. They were calling me, you F that's gonna die of AIDS kind of thing, right? And so, on top of being scared of coming out as being gay, because I didn't know what that meant for me or for my life, on top of that, I was scared to death that, that I was gonna contract HIV and die. And, and then going to bars and seeing people that look like skeletons on death's door walking around, and, that just reaffirmed it for me, and then meeting those people, and then, I can remember when they would pass away, and people would show pictures of them and things, and they would say, oh my God, they used to be so beautiful, and this is what this disease does, and things like that. And and it was a lot of people, most of them had died before I had came out, and they would talk about people. I remember them talking about this one guy that was really popular, and everybody loved him and whatever, and he had died right before I came out. And everybody would talk about him, you know? And then they would show me pictures of him, and like, you know, before, like when he was doing dance routines for drag queens and stuff like that. And then when he had died, and I'm just like, this disease is destroying people. It's killing people, you know? And on top of being scared, and on top of being scared to even be out and hold somebody's hand walking down the street, you know, then we're scared to die. We're scared that our showing love for each other or lust for each other is going to kill us, and people are telling us that we deserve that. Like, it's not like straight people aren't lusting after each other and having one night stands too, you know? Now it's scary for everybody, you know? But back then it wasn't. It was exclusive to drug users and, you know, intravenous drug users and gay men. And so this whole stigma was that we deserved it because of our lifestyle, you know? Well, I don't know that I would have ever chosen to live a lifestyle where I was terrified to hold somebody's hand that I had a crush on or loved down the street, and I was terrified for my life every day that if I kissed somebody, you know, because when you first come out, you don't even really know. And even if you are educated, you're still scared. Like, well, you know, it's, you know, fluids, saliva, things like that. So you're scared to death. Like, if I kiss this person, am I going to, you know, end up dying in a year? Like, I mean, you're terrified of all of it, you know? So, yeah, there's a lot of horrible shit that's still going on. But today, I think there's so much education and information about different STDs and HIV out there and things. I think there's fantastic books, there's fantastic movies, there's fantastic TV shows, there's music, there's musicians, there's celebrities that are coming out and sharing their lives. There's so many people out there, right? Like, it's one of the reasons why it's important for me to share my story and say, hey, I'm just a guy that lives in Indiana with my dog and my husband. To let people see that, to normalize that for people, right? Like, I'm not like patting my back, but if I had seen myself when I was 18 years old and realized that maybe one day I can live in a neighborhood where my neighbors are walking down the street and they're saying hi to me and laughing and talking about dogs, and I'm going to watch the Housewives. I mean, if I could see that, right? Like, I never saw this for myself. I never saw this for myself that this could be possible. Never. If I could have just seen what my future could look like, I don't know, like, I think things would have been so different to me. So I'm sobbing there last night watching this movie, right? And I said to Alex, I said, if I'd seen this movie when I was in high school, if I'd seen any of these kind of movies in high school, like Love, Simon and things like that, like, my life would have been saved. Like, you know, and there's a lot of people that don't feel seen for whatever their issue is. Not just the LGBTQIA plus community, but whatever they're going through, you know, however they identify, whatever their life story is, whatever their background is, whatever their heritage, ethnicity, ancestry, whatever, right? And they don't feel seen in the group of people that they're forced to go to school with. Therefore, if you don't feel seen and you don't see yourself and you don't have any role models that you see and you don't have any public figures, then you do feel all alone, and then you say, well, is there something wrong with me? Then you internalize it, right? And that's what I did. And then I had had so many people saying it to me for years that when I finally did come out, in that moment where you feel like, yes, I'm out and I'm proud and I'm taking this all back, what I realized was, well, they had stolen it from me all these years before because they had already put that on me. They had already said this about me. So they stole it from me. They took it from me, you know? I'm not angry about that today. I think the life that I lived is the life that I live. So anyway, I would highly recommend that movie. I told Tanya last night, I was like, because she was like, what do you think of it? And I said, I think you'd like it. I said, it's very, because she doesn't love real sexual stuff. I said, it's kind of sexual in some parts. She's like, you think I can handle that? I was like, okay, Tanya Gina, go watch it. You know, she'll watch anything. But anyway, hey, how are you? So yeah, so then after that, I laid down again. I was so comfortable. I was next to Alex and Boo Radley, and Boo Radley was just, he was like being so sweet and his little ball curled up and all this kind of stuff. And so I was talking to him like sweetly and gently. He was like laying there, his little bangs are way over his eyes right now, so he was just like looking up at me through his bangs. I was talking to him and Alex was falling asleep, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna lay down for like an hour. Again, I woke up at like 1:30 in the morning or 2. And then I came out here and I watched Love After Lockup. Oh no, I filmed a video. That's the first thing I did. I filmed a video. I don't even know why. I was like, well, I started getting sent this stuff. So I was looking through the social media, so I thought, just make this video now. So then you'll have a drama video to go up tomorrow. So I sat out here and I made a video. I love doing the late night videos, but the thing is that it's like 2 hours of my night. You know, when you're starting at 2:30 in the morning, right? Like, that's a big chunk of your time. So I made the video, and then I watched Love After Lockup, which is like an hour and a half, and then I watched like 2 episodes of The Real Housewives of Miami. And because I had slept for like 3 or 4 hours, 3 hours, something like that, 3.5. I don't know how many hours I slept. I think 3 and 4. I was like wide awake. Like, I don't even think I need that much sleep anymore. I think honestly I only need like 4 to 6 hours of sleep because I was like wired. And so like I finally went to bed at like 7:15. I mean, honestly, you guys, okay? And I laid there for a little bit and I really struggled falling asleep, but it wasn't as bad as most nights. And so then I went to bed and then I woke up and I looked over and Alex was holding my hand and little Boo Radley was sitting there looking at his paws, and it just was a perfect morning. So I laid there for a little bit and talked to Alex and stuff, and I was like, I think I'm going to get up and make some videos. And he was like, well, not this morning. It was late. It was like 1:30 when I got up. But that's what weekends are for, right? Or Mondays, or Tuesdays, or Wednesdays. That's the joy of working from home, you know, being your own boss. So anyway, it's been a good day, and he just came home, so I'm going to go inside and hang out with him for a little bit before he gets ready to, because he's going to take a shower and he's going to get ready to go out with his girlfriends tonight. Hey, how are you? So I'm going to go hang out with him for a little bit and start rendering this vlog and uploading this vlog so that I can get it done. It's still, can you believe it? It's the end. Here, let's give me my thumbnail. The end is here. It's the end. The end is here, right? And the end is September. But guess what? Tomorrow's the beginning. Tomorrow, and that's what tomorrow's vlog title will be. The beginning. The beginning of a long road. Is what I'll call it. Tomorrow's October 1st. So, anyway, I'm going to do a real short outro tonight. I love you guys so much. I hope that you're having the most magically amazing Saturday in the entire world. If nobody else has told you this today, I love you. Have a great evening, and I'll see you guys tomorrow. Bye. Love you.